and an invitation to Elysium that was to happen in a week. You've got a few other irons in the fire, but as I remember, what really transpired last week was the Hargrave meeting, the invitation to Elysium. You got some information about, kind of in a circumspect way, but you got some information from Hargrave. Am I forgetting anything?
The truck, the investigation
Yes.
of Sokolov.
Yes. So, Juan had done some reconnoitering, and he saw in the industrial port of the city, right on the outskirts of El Paso, and in like a industrial area between El Paso and Juarez. He saw some interesting activity. So he saw a group of people that were loading a truck in the dead of night with night vision goggles on, and it seemed as though they were doing some untoward stuff, and they were speaking in Russian. So, and also, as I remember, Nick, Yusuf did recognize Dimitri's voice on the recording that Juan had made with a cell phone.
Yes.
Yes. Awesome. Thanks for jogging my memory. So I
Also,
think we're
Nate texted his daughter.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Poor little Chica.
Feel bad.
Juan
So-
also has a plan to kill Nate.
Fake kill,
really
Juan.
good
Fake kill.
So, as I remember, we left off. It was the end of the night of the meeting with Hargrave. It was like 2 or 3 in the morning. Let's just say that the evening goes by uneventfully. I remember Juan did some legwork on the back end of that that had to do with the deliveries, and it's the next night. It's the next night. So spend a blood point, wake up, and Juan, you wake up. If you take a look at your cell phone, which I'm assuming you do, you take a look at it, and you are informed that it's the gentleman. I believe his name was Robert. It's the guy that you spoke to that was the head of security at the Speaking Rock Casino. He was going to get you the further security tapes that had to do with the ground, like the floor. So you get a voicemail saying that those are prepared. He can send them wherever you need them to be sent, or you can come by the casino itself and you can pick them up if you like.
Yeah, his name was Robert, actually. Cool. So Juan will just text him back and say thank you. We'll be along to collect them shortly. And I also want to text one of my contacts. So if you remember, after the truck rolled out, Juan had called his contact at Border Control. And he had given him basically the information about the truck, had said he thinks that they're doing something untoward, and he just texts his contact, Michael Dinbury, who's somebody he's worked with quite a bit in the past, and asked him if he had any luck with the truck.
Awesome. So did you call or did you text? I'm sorry, I kind of blanked out on that part.
Tonight, you mean, or previous?
When you woke up the next day, did you call? So you didn't get anything back from Michael in the morning or at night the next night?
He just texted. It's not worth a phone call yet.
Okay, cool, awesome. You don't hear anything back just as of yet, but more information will be cool, guys.
Sweet.
So, oh no, where do you guys stay? I know that Colton and Eosif are crashing together, but you still got your apartment. Nate still got his house. Where the hell does Nate stay?
I think I put this on the little bio a while ago that I sent you, but he's currently staying in like kind of a rented flat. Like he's basically staying
Like a weekly hotel kind of thing?
not a weekly hotel. He's actually like God, the wrong thing.
Because that would be too sad.
He yeah, that would be really sad.
It would be really sad.
It would be so sad. But no, I said like when he was embraced, he was in the middle of moving into a smaller room or a little tiny apartment above the diner that his friend owns.
Oh, I must have not. You know, I wish I was like a heavy drinker or something like that, so I could blame my terrible memory on that. But nope, just don't remember. Sorry.
So everything he owns is like in that small, like little, like how a business is sometimes like you can rent a room up here, you know, type above this restaurant or store or something like that. But
Man,
that's
even if
so
Nate
nice.
wasn't a vampire, he would his would be a one of tragedy. Empty nester, kids off to college.
That's this
Poor
life
fucking
in
Nate.
general.
Poor fucking Nate. Awesome. So the night is yours, guys. Feel free to take the reins.
So Juan will definitely relay
No, you're
the
not.
information to you gotta die, Nate. I'm sorry.
You're not burning down. No one knows about it. He didn't tell his kids about this
Oh,
apartment. He only said he moved to a smaller apartment.
It's in his name, right?
It's like not a really like rented. It's like his friend owns the restaurant, so he's living above like kind
under
of
the
paying rent.
table,
Under the
no
table
lease
type
was
thing.
signed.
I mean, he pays rent, but his friend doesn't want like it doesn't like he doesn't have to pay rent
There was no paperwork, you know.
There's no
I-
paperwork.
I got you. I understand.
as much as like yeah he's trying to be frugal.
Are
He
you
has two
saying
kids.
that Nate broke the law?
He's okay. Here's the thing.
Oh,
This is an
wow.
old army friend of his. It's like, hey, I have this like room up. Like you can just stay here, man. Like you don't have to pay me or anything. Like it's not
Oh,
like
I see.
instead of
You're
like
crashing
a-
on his couch, basically.
it's not like it's the couch is basically a small.
It's a futon to really set the scene of misery.
No, it's not a futon. A single bed, though. It's a single twin bed, probably.
I like the idea of it being a futon.
In Yosef's
Like a-
mind,
It's like a rip in the sheets. The fucking spring coming out of the mattress.
It's not that bad.
There's not even a mattress.
That's Yosef's bed.
Probably.
It's full of meth.
I don't know what those stains are, and at this point, I'm too afraid to ask.
Nice. So Juan will relay the information. He just texts Yosef and Nate that the Robert, the head of security at the casino, is got our tapes for.
Okay, this is out of character, but I thought we already got the tapes though. Didn't Colton look over the tapes?
Yes and no. So he got the tapes from the hotel, which were a lot easier to get because they knew exactly where he was, like what room he was staying in. So it was a lot easier for Robert, the head of security, to go and pull those tapes. The problem was with the other tapes is that you would have to essentially track his movement across the entire casino, which would take a significantly greater outlay of energy. So he was working on that portion.
Oh, okay. All right. So that was. Thank you for clearing that up.
No problem.
And then Juan texts Nate and he said, "Hey, about that thing, I've got some ideas. ...
That and says, I'm glad you're having fun thinking of ways ...
So Juan just texts back and says, now you know what I do in my free time.
What ideas do you have, or do you prefer to talk in person about this instead of the phone?
In person.
Alright. When do you want to meet up for that?
So this is Juan texts both Nate and Yosef, and he's just like, "Hey, you guys want to meet up?" Like doesn't really reply to Nate's question like, "When do you want to do that?" He's just like, "Hey, do you guys want?"
I asked what time. Yeah, what time?
I don't have any other pressing business this evening.
And you hear from Colton? It's been a few days.
Hey, is that guy still in the warehouse?
Yeah, please tell me he's not dead, because Nate would fix that problem right away.
Well, I don't know. It'd be probably worthwhile to go and check it out.
Okay, Nate
I'm
would
gonna have
go.
to check it out.
Oh my gosh. Like, Nate will what happened to that man that Colton was taking care of? You
I
haven't
mean,
heard.
I don't give a shit about that guy. I'll just leave him there, but I am.
Leave him where?
In the warehouse.
What warehouse? I'll go check.
I think maybe we should let Yosef handle this one.
Oh yeah. Oh, did Nate get any updates about that? Or I mean, he hasn't gotten to work though, so he doesn't know.
Right.
Okay.
Do we still have Will like just kind of sitting on the couch?
Yep. He's just a centerpiece in your
Can we
coffee
just, like,
table
put him
at
in,
this
like,
point.
A coffin or something at this point.
I'm gonna have him on like all fours, like a stuffed.
No.
So you should mount him on the wall.
He's the ottoman. It's our new ottoman.
Oh man.
That's so bad.
All right. So who's going where?
Juan will text Nate to meet up somewhere while Yosef is unfucking the situation with the guy in the warehouse. Hopefully. Or
I'm
however
just looking for
Yosef handles.
Colton.
Nate's gonna. Did he get a message from the daughter yet? Or because he would take care of that before going off anywhere.
Yeah. So you get. So she's at school as well, right?
Mhm.
Actually, I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say no, not yet, because you only texted her one day ago, and considering it's at the end of October in our timeline, she's knee deep in work at this point. and
Oh
you
yeah,
guys-
she's like dying with finals and shit like that.
Yeah, she's like you remember. Nate remembers the time when he was in college. And
He
remembers
never
was
went to college.
Oh,
Which
well,
because he
well,
went to
well.
war instead.
Well, so he doesn't know them.
No,
So-
that's why he's like wondering why he hasn't heard. I mean, he knows she's busy in school because she was always the studious one out of the
Yeah,
children.
But you know what? It only takes 5 minutes to send a text message.
That's
so
very true. That's very true.
Who knows? So you've got that to ruminate on as you're driving over.
I'm gonna
Okay.
say.
Nate and Juan, let's just say, unless you're okay, unless you want to do something else, Nate, let's say you guys meet up just to progress the thing
Okay,
along.
that's it. Yeah, let's meet up. Let's just meet up somewhere.
So it's probably somewhere fairly quiet, and it might actually be surprising for Juan. Actually, no, it's definitely somewhere quiet, and it's actually in a nicer part of town, and it's like a little jazz lounge, and it's dark. The ambiance is is dark. They've got like the hooded lamps that kind of sit on the tables, and they charge you a cover charge to get in. It's like $20,
Oh my
but
gosh.
the cover is well spent. Actually, they have kind of a low key jazz band playing up on the stage, and there's waitresses that walk around in like cocktail dresses, and it's not sparsely populated, but it's not heavily populated either. And you can pretty easily see Juan sitting in a booth. He's visible from the door, and he's sitting by himself and looks like he's nursing a drink of some kind.
Nate will pay the $20 and walk in. He's probably dressed in an officer's uniform, but he has a coat to cover it, to partially cover it as he walks in, at least.
And does Nate sit down? I mean, Juan will wave him, like gesture to the seat across from him.
He would take it.
Nate, good evening. How are
I'm fine. Juan, how are you?
Good. You know that jacket and the uniform, they don't really match. Yeah?
I know.
Oh. Okay. Well, I was just trying to help with, fashion advice, I suppose. And Juan, as usual, is dressed in a suit of some type, and he's got dark sunglasses on.
Of course he is.
So, about that thing that I offered to help with, I have a couple of ideas, and I think one of them is pretty good, if you're interested.
Well, share
Or-
them with me, and
Or wait. Let me ask you this. How did you imagine this going?
honestly, I imagined I would either get. I was chasing a suspect in my vehicle, or an accident happens there, or get shot. Perhaps, or I just retire and I die of old age, but that's obviously not happening.
I was going to say you don't look like an old man, Nate.
Yeah. So,
So not that different from my own idea, actually. You know that the cartel in recent years has not been the influence that it once was, perhaps, but still particularly troublesome police officer, someone who is upstanding and perhaps cannot be bought, might still be killed instead.
Juan, are you suggesting to make my death look like a cartel hit?
Yes, that is exactly what I'm suggesting. For a couple of reasons, Nate. I understand that the reason that you have been employed all this time, that you've kept your life as it was, is because you tried to care for your family, yes?
He nods.
You know, if I were a criminal, I would say that a police officer killed in the line of duty, his widow and his children get his pension.
That's correct. That was kind of why I suggested the idea in the first place. Or,
Now, there's only one problem.
what problem would that be?
Well, Nate can't die. So someone has to.
Psst. The guy in the warehouse.
No!
I was just saying, I did ask if he was there.
Is that why you asked?
Nick and I are apparently on the same list.
You son of a bitch, no! Nick will not have a man with a wife who was. I need to go check on his wife when I think about it now to see how she's doing. Because it's been a couple of days since the fire incident.
Has it been a couple of days?
What's the
Been
time
more than
frame?
that.
It's been a week?
Probably about a week, yeah.
Okay, then it's a good
Maybe a
time
little
to
bit.
check on the guy's wife to see how she's doing. Because their house
Yeah.
burned down, if you don't all remember. I don't know if they have insurance on that shit.
Oh, well, yeah, and also I think her husband got royally fucked up, if not killed. That might be the bigger trauma.
That's that too.
He didn't die. He's in the warehouse.
We don't know that yet. We have no
Yeah, I
idea.
think that's true. I left him an energy drink.
And some leftover Chinese food, but again, he was tied up.
Light and perfect. So we need to have a body.
I'm sure we can get something from the morgue or something. I mean,
Unfortunately, I don't know how well that would work. But let me ask you this question. And one leans forward across the table and he says, "You want to make a difference in the city, in this world. I am sure that crimes go unpunished every day. Bad men get off every day. Perhaps we can find a man who deserves justice, but did not receive it."
what would Nate think? And that's the only way you can think of getting a body? Why?
No. There are plenty of ways I can think of that, but this is the way I thought would be best for you. I don't want to pick some random person off the street that might be innocent. Yes? We both agree that would be bad. Wrong, even. I have no desire to harm someone that's done nothing. But a murderer, a rapist, an evil person that this world will not miss. Judgment comes swiftly. Sometimes. Other times, it is delayed.
I'll think about it. I do see your point.
That's all I ask. That you think about it. We have a few days. I think it would be good to resolve this issue before our meeting. Yes?
Wait, you're planning to stage my death before the meeting?
Yes. Absolutely.
I really wanted to do this after Thanksgiving. It's only October.
Think about it this way, Nate. When we walk into that room, sure, we've already been announced to the prince. But whatever happens in that room, we will make enemies. No matter what. those enemies will have much more trouble hurting you if you're dead. Think about it, Nate. I'm not asking for an answer. I'm just trying to offer a solution.
I'll keep it in mind.
Juan just nods. Unless Nate has anything else, you can go ahead and cut to Yusuf.
Yeah, let's get to Yosef.
All right. So, Yosef, you drive on down to the warehouse area that you remember having misplaced this person in. So, you park your car a significant distance away from the warehouse, I assume, and you go and walk on over to the warehouse area. You walk up to the door. It doesn't look like it's been opened. It doesn't look like much has happened, at least to the on the outside. I'm going to assume that you knew where the keys were to get inside of this warehouse just from simplicity's sake. So,
Yeah, that makes sense.
yeah. I'm assuming that, let's just say that Colton had his keys up on like a little key ring or something like that, and he just jacked it, right? So you go and you take your keys out and you're trying each one, and finally you find the right one and you slip it into that lock on the door and you jiggle it around and it gives some little resistance. It seems as though there has been banging on this door. It doesn't quite exactly go in and turn. The tumblers have been fucked with in some way, shape, or form. But finally you do open the door and you're dead. So it's not necessarily as visceral as it would have been if you were alive, but there is a stench that just assaults your senses at the very first. It's a stench that has a taste to it.
I see the Chinese food went bad.
It is repulsive. It is human excrement. It is just smells like misery. It smells like hapless suffering. And as you open up the door, you look inside and you see a man that is not necessarily dead, because your vampiric senses immediately look at him. He is on the floor. He is crawled up in a ball, and he is seemingly aware of your presence. His heartbeat in your ears is ever so faint. This man went a week without water in El Paso. The fact that he is alive is incredible. He is as close to death's door as he possibly can be. You take a look at his lips, and his lips are cracked and parched. You feel like the only reason that this man was alive at all, as you cast your gaze around the area, is that he must have found some sort of discarded fluids in some way, shape, or form. And indeed, you find a few like cast-off water bottles that, as you take a cursory look at them, they were from like 6 years ago, and this place has been ravaged. But nothing is as it was before, because it seems as though this man was breaking through everything. Like, he was going through absolutely everything to find something to let him survive. And he found like a cast-off water bottle, and that's about it. His lips are cracked. He's croaking. He's just kill me.
Colton, are you here?
Oh!
I'm just gonna like text Nate. Hey, mess at warehouse.
What do you mean, mess at warehouse?
Send a picture of this shit covered man.
What the fuck?
I know
No,
you
Nate
like
doesn't
to
say
love
that.
People. Here you go.
Where is this location?
I send you in a minute. If I'm busy. Sorry, I already know you're gonna overreact.
The questions this man is asking, he says, just why? Just in the most raspy voice you can imagine. Why? And you get the sense that asking that question was the lion's share of his energy, and he is just spent.
I do feel bad for this guy. But, I mean, there's not a whole lot that Yosef is really willing to do.
Yeah, he's just looking at you.
Too much.
He's looking at you, and there's obviously contempt there, but there's just confusion. Like, there's a level of cruelty where you're just kind of confused. Like, you don't know how. You can see in his mind that he's just kind of trying to find some meaning in what the fuck is happening to him at the moment. He just does not understand. And he's too fucking tired to be drag him out, knock him down angry with you. He's just looking at you like, what the fuck? Why?
Yeah, I want to make a humanity. Well,
You go for it.
yeah.
I wasn't gonna force you simply because you weren't the one that put him here. But if you want to of your own volition, by all means.
Okay. What would I be rolling again? I'm gonna roll the
Conscience.
conscience.
Ooh.
I actually can't see that. Oh, okay, there
So, you look at him, and when you open the door and your senses were assaulted by the fecal matter and the urine, and there was this expectant sense of dread as you opened up the door. But what you found is that when you opened up the door, your senses, only in the most like basic like five senses sense, were attacked. As you opened the door, you almost wanted to feel something when you opened that door and cast your gaze on that man, but when you were looking at him, it was just a flat line. There was nothing that really stood out to you as poignant in the moment. You're just looking at the man, and he's lying there, and there does happen to be a bunch of fecal matter and excrement and just misery. And there's really no touchstone there for you anymore, as far as this is concerned. So, lose a humanity.
Yeah, I'm gonna just kind of wash my hands of this and pass it on along to someone else. So yeah, I'm just gonna wander around looking for Colton. Obviously, I kind of know how this is gonna go anyways, but yeah, just kind of walk around. Colton.
Yeah, so you would know that you get the gut sense that Colton is not here, and he hasn't been here. No one's been here in the last week. Nate, are you on the way?
Well, did Yosef send me the address?
Yeah, let's assume that he did.
Okay, well,
I
yeah.
don't think he would have.
Nate sees the picture and he will get water bottles, a emergency blanket, and like all the necessary shit you'd need for this scenario.
Yeah. You probably got emergency blanket in your squad car. You've definitely got a few water bottles hanging around. If not, the rookies from from the day shift just leave those things underneath the seats. So you have a big old treasure trove of like 5 or 6 of them, half drink. So
Should probably make sure he has food bars or protein bars of some kind in there as well.
Yeah, I'm gonna text the address like after I walk out, and I'm just gonna kind of look back at the guy, and I mean, there's no real expression on my face. I just kind of stare at him a bit, and then I close the door.
Awesome. And the same sense of like stoic feature looks right back at you. There's contempt in the eyes, but other than that, he's just too exhausted to do much. So Nate, you arrive.
Yep.
You roll on up.
I will actually go with Nate. If Nate says anything while we're at the
Oh yeah, because you would be there as well.
Yeah.
'Cause there's, oh.
So when Nate gets that picture, like what does Nate do?
Like, he wouldn't wait for Yosef to send the address. He'd ask Juan right away when he gets the photo. Juan, where did you and Yosef and Colton put that man? What's the address?
Come on, I'll take you. I know the way.
And he would quickly check if he has everything in the back of his car. First aid kit and all.
Yeah, you got it all.
Yeah, alright, then he'll drive.
Yeah, you got it. Awesome. So, the drive is uneventful. You pull on up. You can decide to park wherever it is that you like, and head on over to the warehouse. And outside, you find Yosef. So,
Yosef,
Yosef,
Yes.
go ahead, Derek.
Yosef, where is he?
I'm in the this building that's right behind me. Right here. Yeah.
He's upstairs in an office. I can show you. So Juan will take Nate upstairs.
I want to hang out outside. Actually, I'm gonna head back off to the house, and we're kind of look there for a bit.
So, I'm sorry, you said the house?
Our house.
Oh, so you're leaving the warehouse scene.
Yes, I will be for just a bit.
Okay. So, it'll probably be like a solid 20 minutes to half hour drive to go back to your apartment area. So just bear that in mind. Juan, you said you were bringing Nate up to the office area.
Yeah.
Okay. Is this a bluff? Because in my mind's eye, this isn't a warehouse. This is essentially... It's not a warehouse so much as... It's more like a, how would you call it? It's like one of those pod storage areas that people don't necessarily frequent all that often. It's like a self-storage area, but for industrial companies. That's why there hasn't been anybody here in the last week or so, because you can assume that this guy earlier in the week would have been screaming his fucking head off to high heaven, but no one found him. Like, this is basically just a mothballed area. This place hasn't been frequented in a fucking long time. Colton did a really good job of finding a deserted industrial area. As I remember, he rolled really well.
So I thought it was an office, but I mean, Juan is not bluffing at all. He'll take Nate to the guy,
Okay, yeah.
and Juan is not, Juan is not heartless in this, even though it doesn't have any humanity. But he also doesn't like torture is not part of his path, right? He just kills people. He doesn't torture them.
I'll be right back this moment.
As I also recall, Colton had started to blood bond the guy.
Yes. Yes, I believe that he was only one step until he was essentially forgotten about.
Yeah.
Which, when and if you resuscitate the guy, we can get into. But now he's just fucking wiping out. So I think it's a week. I think 3 days without water is redlining it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially in hot El Paso, so.
Surprised he's still alive, actually.
Yeah, he found a few water bottles thrown about.
Okay.
I actually saw this great post on Reddit where this guy was going and clearing out a wall. Like, he broke down a wall, and there was just this old cup from like 1989 just sitting there, like one of those old styrofoam cups. I'm like, oh shit.
Nice.
Does water go bad? I've seen
Yes.
expiration dates.
It does, yeah.
What happens to it after a while?
Grows algae.
Oh,
Very
I
disgusting.
see. That is very disgusting.
oh God.
I haven't cleared my camelback in a long time.
You should probably do
You
that.
should do that.
There's these
I think
little
I'm just gonna
tablets
buy a new bladder.
that have- Probably for the best. They do have these little tablets that you can go and clean them out with, though. But so Juan and Nate, you both see the same scene. This person is on death's door, and it wouldn't take your vampiric senses to know it. This guy is in a very, very bad way. He is just about to expire, and honestly, at this point, he's really not even able to make any noises. He's just lying there.
So, can I make like some sort? I'm trying to think. Did he have it? Like a medicine check to see like if it was if it's even like possible to bring him from the brink?
Yeah, you can do that.
And I guess that would be intelligence,
Yeah,
medicine. It's-
I'd give you wits with it if you want, if that makes any difference.
Nope.
Okay.
And I'm assuming it's difficulty 6 because it doesn't say anything.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Nope. Don't know.
Oh,
You actually
jeez.
botched that roll.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's gone.
He's
Nope. You get the distinct sense that Nate has a sense of humanity about him, and Nate looks at this and sees the abject misery that this man has been subjected to, and just that sense of suffering makes him believe. Yeah, he goes and he checks his vital signs, and with vampirically enhanced perception, you hear the faintest of faint heartbeats. But he hazard to guess that unless if you were immortal, he wouldn't have a pulse at all. This man is probably an hour away from dying at the very, very, very most.
Jesus.
I guess Colton didn't come back for him. And Juan, seeing Nate like do the medical thing, which Juan doesn't do, he just hurts people. He bites his wrist, and he puts his wrist over the guy's lips, and lets blood drain into his mouth.
Well, all right. So the man had his eyes closed at that point, and as your blood and your vitae falls into his mouth, he seems revivified the moment that it touches his lips in some way, and that the only thing that he had been able to move was his head and his eyes and his mouth to a lesser extent, though he hadn't been able to ask too many questions. But when you go and you put your wrists up to his mouth, you actually feel ever so slowly that his hands are moving up to grasp your arm and keep your arm there. There's no strength whatsoever, but it's just this reflexive gesture, just that he feels some sort of recuperation from it. And go ahead.
I was gonna say Juan does not. So I feed him 1 blood point.
Okay.
Just enough to keep him alive, basically. And then Juan withdraws his arm and licks the wound close on his
Well,
arm.
Before that happens, essentially, as you start to pull your arm away, the man's hands give some resistance, and As if he was awoken from a pleasant dream, his eyes snap open and sees exactly what it is that's giving him nourishment, and his eyes go wide in just terror and confusion. And he's looking at you.
That's okay. Terror and confusion's good.
And you pull your hand back, you pull your arm back.
Yeah.
The man is terrified, to say the least. I mean, his mouth is agape, his eyes are wide in terror, and he's nonverbal. Like he is just making noise.
Nate.
And he looks at Nate in terror as well. And just the both of you are the most terrifying thing that he has ever seen or ever thought of in his life as he's looking at the both of you.
Jesus.
Give him the water, Nate. He'll be alright.
Nate will do that. But he will try to calm the man down.
Well, actually, as you come into the foreground, you are a little bit in the background, and as you are the singular thing that he's looking at when you're going and kneeling over him, roll a wits or perception and empathy check.
Okay, I got a while back a acute sense merit for sight. Would this help me?
No, this is
No.
more so trying to put yourself in his headspace.
Okay. So this would be wits empathy or
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Alright, so that's 4 dice. Please don't fuck this up. Nope. God
Oh, okay.
damn, Nate.
No problem. For whatever reason, he's far more scared of you than he is of Juan.
What?
And he can't quite account for that. But you're sloshing in the water, and you almost feel like part of him is resisting. Like, this is just strange.
He'll stop and say, he'll look at Juan as if to and motion to the water to see if he'd accept it from Juan at this point then.
So Juan shakes his head, and Juan turns to him, and he gives him. It's more of a command.
Okay.
It's Juan is not asking, right? But he's not trying to be intimidating either. So he says, "Drink the water. You can trust this man. His name is Nate. What's your name?" And if you'd like, I will roll charisma. I'd like to roll leadership with that because it is kind of a command
Yeah,
and not
absolutely.
intimidation. Yeah.
Yeah, you have a mane about you. You have a noble bearing. Absolutely. You can definitely use leadership. But
3 successes.
nice. Well, are you using just your power of persuasion, or are you using dominate and commanding him?
No, just the power of persuasion and the blood bond.
Okay. Huh. So he's doing it. He will go and drink, but it is belabored, and it is completely unenthusiastic. It seems as though there's something in this man broke, basically. This man has had a very bad week, and something in him just kind of snapped when he saw Nate, for whatever reason.
Why? What the fuck?
Nate's an ass.
What do you mean Nate's the least?
Juan, if you want to take a crack at this, you can.
Does one care enough?
He might not. I don't know.
When you say take a crack at what?
Empathizing with this man's situation. There's a specific
Oh, God.
reason. Okay. Yep. Don't.
Nope.
And Dark, it's not to pick on you. It's
No,
really not to pick on
I
you.
know. It's fine. Nate and me will just be confused.
Yeah, sorry. One doesn't.
Yeah, I didn't think so. Well, Nate is also wearing gloves with this because this man is probably very filthy. Not that, like, Nate probably wouldn't care. I care as a player. That's why he's wearing gloves.
Just having to think of the stench.
Yeah, no.
So yeah, the man will drink.
So Juan did ask him his name as well.
He'll stop, when he'll stop drinking, he'll pull back.
Yeah, it takes some time, and with a very raspy and hoarse voice. Jamie.
Jamie. My name is Juan. This is Nate. We're going to get you out of here, yeah?
He just looks at you blankly, dumbly.
So Juan turns to Nate and he's like, Nate, don't you think this man should perhaps forget his traumatic experience?
Does Nate have, well, let's see, he has 2 in Dominate. But that's not the Forgetful Mind, though.
Ah, okay.
So only one has the Forgetful Mind out of the 2 of us.
Okay. Juan did not know that.
Well,
So,
Nate will say that. I can't do the mind thing that you can do, Juan, just yet.
I see. Very well.
The man's eyes are darting between the two of you.
Jimmy, come on. Let's get you cleaned up. Get you to a hospital, maybe. And Juan actually goes to hoist the guy up under one of his arms and, kind of gesture to Nate.
Yeah, Nate will automatically go on the arm because he's probably the man's somewhat wrapped in an emergency blanket as well.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
of this.
Yeah, and between the two of you, you have no problem hoisting him, but it's all you guys. He's not bringing, and he has nothing. He has no energy to bring to bear to even put 1 foot down. So you guys are bringing him one on one shoulder, and you're carrying him out of the warehouse.
Yeah.
Awesome. So, which vehicle are you going towards?
I think we're gonna try and find a hose.
Yeah. Is there
Okay.
there's no water here at all. Like a
I
dog
mean,
There's
there's
like a
at
water spigot or something.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, there's a spigot. There's not a hose as such, and there's certainly no fountains or anything like that. But you can absolutely find a spigot, for sure.
Yeah, so Juan, looks at Nate and he's like, do you have anything in the car that might hold a little bit of water?
Trying to think. Would he have something? I mean, besides the water bottle he just shoved in the guy's mouth.
Oh my god, the rookies leave those big gulp cups from 7-Eleven and you have plenty of
Yeah, at least
containers
that.
for
Yeah.
sure.
But he will remind, to scold the rookie for leaving giant fucking gulp cups in the fucking police car later on.
There's stuff underneath the seat.
Oh
No,
my
no.
god.
Out of sight, out of mind. But yeah, you find them.
Oh my god. Oh yeah. He has 2 giant gulp cups.
Yeah, so basically just strip the guy down and Juan is he's not rough about it, but he kind of has this air of like casual indifference, I guess.
Yeah.
And he fills the water and like splashes it on the guy and like washes him off as best he can. Obviously, he's not going to be able to do. It's not like taking a hot shower, but that and like a change of clothes or something like that. Cops usually carry something
Yeah,
like that.
he
Or-
probably has like some sweatpants and a t-shirt or something
yeah, like
at
PPE
least.
gear at least.
Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely.
but, yeah,
And just get him dressed in that.
yeah. Nate is assisting.
So
Awesome.
when we get him back to the car, that's when I want Juan to use the forgetful mind on him. How I assume he probably doesn't have much willpower.
No.
Yeah.
1, 2 at a max. We'll say 1. So, do you go back to your car, Juan, or do you go back to Nate's car?
No, I drove with Nate.
Yeah.
Actually,
Oh.
I rode with Nate.
You understand now why he was very scared of Nate as opposed to you. The fact that so you both were in the same room and it was abundantly clear that he was drinking from your wrist. He looks at the squad car and his eyes go wide with terror because the enormity of what he just realized was that the police are in on this.
Oh,
Like he was thinking that the police were going to come and save him. And in a roundabout way they did. But this man was assuming that they would come with a cavalcade. But instead there was a man who looks like he was not expecting this, essentially. His eyes go wide with terror as he's looking at the squad car like, oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck is what's going through his mind, as you can see through his eyes.
Oh, he's not a bad cop. Okay. But,
So that was your forgetful mind?
Yeah, but I spent the willpower on it as well, so it's
Okay.
it's 5 successes total.
Awesome.
So basically, if you remember when I did the forgetful mind on the girl, Juan had made her think that there was that basically like a gang had broken into their house and it was like a home invasion scenario, and she had run off and kind of collapsed and then was found and taken to the hospital and all that kind of stuff. And Juan reconstructs in this guy's memory kind of the same description of the people that he had used with the girl, which was basically some gang members, right? Some Hispanic kids from a local gang or something like that. And basically they abducted him, put him in this warehouse, and he doesn't remember much, but he remembers like crying out weakly this night, and he just happened to somehow get heard by this police officer. Doesn't remember anything of the week, any of that kind of stuff. He just was basically held captive, held ransom for a week.
Okay, awesome. And do you put yourself in the rescue, or do you leave yourself out?
No, one is out.
Okay,
And then
so
yeah, basically as soon as we get into the car, or as soon as Juan gets him into the car, Juan takes off.
okay, awesome. So Nate, you have this man sitting in the back of the car, and you heard Juan coaching him through the memory, the false memory. You hear Juan essentially crafting a narrative for this man.
right.
And the man nods, and the man nods, and the man nods with doe eyes as he's sitting in the back seat with his little space blanket wrapped around him, and he's just quivering and nodding. And once Juan finishes his sentence, he turns on a heel and walks away.
Okay. Well, he's obviously gonna drive the man to the hospital, but he might report the warehouse because the man did say that he crawled out of the warehouse somehow. And he's just gonna make a quick look around and see if there's any security cameras or anything close by that would... Would that be a perception roll for that? Or...
Yeah, so you can do perception awareness, you could do investigation if you'd like, whatever's better.
One success.
Okay. You see no cameras. You do have the presence of mind, though, to essentially go back to the door and you go and you make it look as though it were unlocked from the inside.
Yeah.
You make it look as though this man, and you kind of like make it in such a way as rudimentarily as you can that the man crawled out of the door. And you have the presence of mind to do that, and then you go and you shut the door behind him, and you've done all you can at the scene.
Okay. And he would drive the man to the hospital with the sirens on and all.
Yeah, awesome. You're tearing ass down the highway. You get to the hospital in no time flat.
Yep.
You go and you pay. I mean, this man's... You're a strong guy, and there's so little of this man after a week, and he's not like emaciated or anything like that. He's just so run down. You're easily able to carry him into the hospital, and once you rush through the doors, you see this lackadaisical response by the hospital, because this is the world of darkness, right?
Yeah.
Shit like this happens all the time, and bad shit just is a constant in this place. And they're moving, and they put him on a crash cart, and they say, "Thank you, officer. You know, leave any police report or like any relevant information at the desk," in the most perfunctory way possible. Like they've seen this 1,000 times, and you're sitting there at the emergency area, and the van goes and is whisked away or carted away.
Right. This is gonna go in the police report.
So that's that.
Yep.
Yusuf, when you were going back to your apartment, what were you doing?
Yeah, I'm just gonna kind of come in with a sort of sense of urgency, and I'm just gonna start ripping apart the place.
All right, awesome. What are you looking for? Are you looking for anything?
I mean, he just kind of left, and I mean, I'm looking for anything.
Yeah. So
I mean, Colton's gone.
you're tearing this place apart, and it doesn't look like he definitely didn't leave a note. Nothing at all. No communication whatsoever. And it doesn't look like he took much of anything in the way of his personal belongings. There's a toothbrush still in the stand, if he ever used it. There's just the trappings of everyday life, and they're there. It doesn't look as though he packed anything before he left.
It certainly has me worried. I'm gonna just kind of sit here with Alan.
Alan sits there too.
Got him now, actually. But yeah, I mean, this is a bit of a hit. I mean,
Yeah, you guys were friends. You guys lived together.
We lived together.
Away he goes. So so this is stressful. So what does ESF do to burn off the stress? How does he cope?
Oh, well, gonna have to find myself a homeless man.
Alright.
and bring my little baggie of meth.
All right, you got it. So how are you gonna do it?
I mean, I don't even think I'm gonna try and finesse it today. I'm not in the mood. I'm just gonna kind of walk up to the first homeless man I can see under the overpass and go up to him and, you want some meth?
Yeah, man. Well,
Alright, but we have to do it together. You first.
all right.
I don't even ask for money. I just toss him a little baggie.
His hands are moving around like little rats, and he's just like going and taking it and putting it in his pipe. And he goes and he gets out. And he looks at you. He's like, "Yeah, you got a light? You got a light, man?
Here you go.
Oh shit, yeah, blast off!" And you take a butane lighter out.
Yeah,
He's going to go to town.
immediately afterwards, I'm just gonna pin him right down, and I'm gonna try and cover his.
You have no problems doing so. I'm not even gonna make you roll. You are so fucking strong. There's no way this man can do much.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm pretty fucking pissed. I mean, what did I do here? I mean, it's not like Yosef is a not, Yosef's a nice fucking person to be around. He's a good roommate.
Yeah, he's conscientious. Thinks about Colton.
I think I'm gonna make a
Fucking
self-control roll.
I love it. So you got 2 successes. Now it's entirely your choice. You don't have to restrain yourself, but you've got the option.
Okay. I mean, I'm not gonna completely go off on this man here, but I'm definitely gonna go off on this man here slightly.
So how many blood points are you taking? 2 is A-okay, not a problem at all. 3, the guy's probably feeling worse for wear the next day, but he probably should go to the hospital, but you know what? The guy's homeless, he ain't going to a hospital. 4, he is like really fucked up, and it's like a 50-50 shot whether there's going to be a medical complication. 5, you might as well just drain him because he's going to die.
Honestly, I'm just gonna take out just 3.
All right, you got it. So he is just pinned down, and his terror is palpable, and his resistance is futile. I mean, you are so fucking strong. Even if you weren't a vampire, you could overpower this man with absolutely no question. So you have pinned him down, and you are taking blood, and you realize at the very last moment when would be just too much, and you stop.
Yeah, I'm just gonna kind of get up, and I'm pretty angry. Like, why the fuck did he just fucking took? He didn't even take his shit. He just fucking left, and he left that fucking poor fucker over in the warehouse. What an asshole.
Yeah. So the guy's just laying there catatonically. Not to be a gotcha kind of GM, but roll a what would it? Roll like a wits and I don't know. Roll just wits, straight wits.
Okay.
Okay. So the man's just lying there, and he, you know how the embrace functions or the kiss functions. The guy's flying fucking high. The guy not only has meth coursing through his veins, and now you do too. So you're getting a little speeded up, but this guy is also has the added ecstasy of the embrace itself or the kiss itself. So he's having a great night. He's gonna wake up feeling pretty damn good. Probably not gonna remember what the fuck just happened, but he's feeling pretty good.
Yeah.
And I'd say at this point it's probably about like 10 o'clock, 10:30. in the evening?
All right, I'm just gonna kind of leave him in this, this corner. This
Yeah, you got it.
bit of the underpass.
And you did get a text message from Juan.
Oh, saying?
Said, oh, I'm sorry. It was to Nate.
Oh.
I'm sorry. I thought it was to you. I apologize.
Well, did the guy make it okay?
Yeah, Duchess, you can tell, absolutely.
Well, Nate will text back. He's gonna make it. And then he will ask, does anyone know where Colton is? Because in Nate's mind, he wants to punch him in the fucking face. Hello?
Hello.
Yeah, no, I'm here.
Yep. Just kind of like, oh, Colton is gone.
What do you mean he's
Ah.
gone?
I don't really answer that.
So, Yosef, Juan texts you back, and he said, I'm headed to your place, but I'm on foot.
Yeah,
And
I'm gonna head back.
He's like, wanna pick me up?
I see what you did there. Wanna pick me up? Ho ho ho. Yeah, I'm gonna just text back a thumbs up. Oh, that doesn't exist yet. I'm gonna text back a
Yeah, you got it. You're blazing the
yes.
trail. Fucking emoji pioneer.
I sent him a picture, a really low res picture of a thumb.
Nice. Yeah, so Juan hitches a ride with Yosef and heads back.
So, Nate, I'm gonna you do whatever paperwork is necessary. Okay?
Yeah,
I'm gonna handle
yeah,
that portion of it.
Yeah.
And you are essentially walking out of the hospital. You're sitting in your squad car at this point. You've got the keys in the ignition. You turn the car over, and you get that text message from Juan that says, "Guy, make it okay." You respond back. I think you said in that little flurry of
He's
activity.
going to make it.
Okay. And for the sake of convenience, I'm going to assume that Juan says, "Hey, we're all going to meet back at Yosef's apartment."
Yep.
Cool.
Although Juan makes sure to text Nate just so that his, facade is not ruined, that he actually gives a shit about people. Like, good, bodies are bad for business.
Of course.
And Nate buys it.
Does he? Well, yeah, he
Does
kind
he?
of does, because given how convincing Juan was, like, actually cleaning the man and, like,
What? I
Do all
used
that
at
shit.
least 4 cups.
no, I'm saying that he kind of would believe that because of the effort you put into fake it. Because he didn't, like, would I have to make.
No.
No.
I'm just fine.
You can think
Yeah.
whatever you think, man.
Yeah.
You can do whatever you want. Juan's
So-
method. That's all we need to know.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
So on the way back, Juan is talking to Yosef. And he's like, "Hey, man, you all right? You seem kind of pissed, What's up, Bato?"
I'm Colton up and left, He left everything. He left stupid Alan. He left everything in the house. You're just up and left.
Seems
What a
strange,
tool.
no?
Does it seem strange? I mean, I don't think he would have gotten himself in trouble. We would have heard about that.
Maybe, Yosef. I can't say. But With nights being the way they are. Maybe.
I'm just really disappointed.
Why? Because he left? Because
Yes.
he stuck you with all that shit you had to deal with.
Both, I guess. I mean, what do we really have left except for each other?
Money, power, an
It comes
eternity.
and goes with time, I guess, but it's not like we're going to meet new people.
I suppose that's true. Yes. I don't know. I suppose it surprises me a little bit, you know. I hadn't figured you for the sentimental type, Joseph.
Yeah, well, I guess I hadn't either.
We learn new things about ourselves every night, it seems.
Man, dying just really sucks. I hate this.
I I don't know, Yosef. It's not really any different from when I was alive, except I don't go out in the sunlight now. I still kill people.
That's
Maybe I kill different
the
people.
problem, though.
Be killing people?
No, not that. No,
Oh, okay.
that it really isn't the same. It's not. It's not. It's the same for me too, but I guess I died a bit earlier than when I died, and that's the problem.
Yosef, are you calling me an old man? That's what it sounded like.
No, that's not what I'm talking about.
Look, we each have things to deal with, right? I dealt with my shit a couple of years ago. That's why I'm a vampire now. After you clear that slate, maybe it's not so bad.
I've never dealt with my shit. And I don't think I'll ever get the chance to.
Why? If Nate can deal with his shit, Yosef, I'm sure you can deal with yours.
Nate's shit is a lot closer, and by the time I can even get around to it, for all I know, everyone's already dead. You can't get revenge on a corpse.
Unless you're friends with the Giovanni.
I guess you're right.
Speaking of that, Giovanni, I have some plans for her. I think it might be interesting.
What is plan?
We'll talk when we get to the house. We want to run it by Nate too.
Where is Nita's helping the house guest, I assume?
Yeah, he took our house guest to the hospital. Good Samaritan. I fixed his memory. Nate's a hero. All that.
Okay, good on him. And should we do something with Alan?
What do you mean, like stuff him?
It's just, I don't really want him around the house anymore.
He does take up table space, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's not a good ottoman either. Not stiff enough.
We could bury him.
I have a hole, but I guess.
We'll see. I'm not really sure what to do with Alan. Of course, that was true before he fucking put a banister through his heart.
Forgot that he did that himself. I don't know. Maybe he's just tired of it all.
Maybe. Seems a shitty way to go, though.
There are worse ways, you know, like eternity of unlife.
Wow. He's not dead. He's just staked. He still gets an eternity of unlife. He just can't enjoy it.
Yes, but he can't enjoy it. It's not like we are enjoying it. Except
What do
we
you mean?
have to experience it.
I'm having a good time. What do you mean?
Maybe you'll. I just haven't quite gotten there yet.
You know, I tossed away the things that made me human a long time ago. Something to think about for you.
I'm just silent.
If you ever have questions, I know some people that have answers.
Maybe one day.
And then Juan is silent until we get to the house.
Awesome. And on cue, you arrive.
I think I'm going to move soon.
We could always leave Alan for the next renters. So as Juan's getting out, he's kind of joking about that, and he's like, we could advertise it as move in ready, already furnished.
Yeah.
So you all will meet up in relatively the same time frame. That as Yosef and Juan are pulling up, Nate pulls up as well.
Okay.
So when we all get kind of gathered, Juan brings up again this idea that Robert, with the tapes, has them ready for us. And I'm going to kind of do this next part out of character because it's a little easier.
Mhm.
So Juan's idea with the Giovanni, he basically lays it out that they desperately need friends and they desperately need to appear influential. And a great way to unbalance things is to show up at Elysium with Francesca.
Ooh.
And then Juan says, I know how to make that happen. Francesca asked me to do something, and it's something that we could get done. In fact, I've already done most of it. I called in a report yesterday to the Border Patrol, and I asked them to take a look at the shipment of guns from this warehouse, or what I assume to be guns. I texted my contact, but he hasn't texted me back. But Nate, part of the deal was to get guns for Francesca. Not that many. Enough to arm a few people and then send them south into Mexico. I've already arranged that, and passage. All I need now are the guns. And when I go back to Francesca, given the fact that I already cleared her path through the Sabbat in Juarez, I think our price just went up. That price being, she shows up on my arm at Elysium. What do you think? How crazy am I?
I think it's risky.
Everything's risky, Yosef.
I mean,
Does she have to come in with us?
Yes. That's the appearance. We come in, the prince thinks that we're under his thumb. If he tries to say that we have done something to Bruno, the fact that we walk in with his sister and fellow clanmate on our arms means something. It means that if the prince accuses us, it would carry much less weight. And if he decides to name us as, I don't know, some part of the Camarilla that I've never fucking heard of, then people know that the prince is not our only friend.
if you can get her to agree with it, I suppose this is the least a distraction, but it wouldn't cause too much of a fuss, like the Sabbat attack you suggested before.
I don't think Juan suggested that in character, by the way.
Oh, okay,
Juan,
no.
Juan
Alright.
would never suggest that in character.
Okay.
But there was like, hey, let's blow up a car or something like
Oh, that was Yosef that said, yeah, he'll say that, well, at least that's better than a suggestion a car to be blown up.
About that, I mean, if it's a cartel hit, Nate, we might blow up your police car.
Well, you know, it's been a few years. I don't really remember how to make explosives anymore.
I think we can figure it out.
Nate would probably see the, the merit to blowing up the police car. But I, as a player, know how useful the police radio is and such. And to have a police car.
Well, I mean, you don't get to keep your police car
No.
when you die or retire, right? So,
I know. But just to steal the radio.
Oh, wow. Nate breaking the law again?
No, this is the player, just not
You're
Nate.
changing.
This is the player. This is the player.
Oh, I see. Dark showing her true colors. I see how they roll in Pennsylvania. Gotta keep my doors locked and roll up the windows.
Again, Nate will say, I'll keep that in mind.
so we have two options. We can go see what Robert knows, get the tapes, investigate them and Bruno, or we can look for information, Bridget, and also we need to meet with Clancy. Yes.
Yeah. How far was the casino again? From the...
That's like a half hour away.
In all honesty, Clancy can wait a bit. He's not gonna go anywhere. It's probably best if we gather information now. before. A week's a long time, but not too long. Or technically 6 days now.
Sure enough. Fine then, if we wish to go to the casino. But I think the casino is only a pickup too.
Yeah, so
We'll have to get the tapes and review them.
which is better if we have a head start of that. A couple days looking for information. And I guess meeting Clancy to pick up my suit.
Indeed. So, is that what you guys want to do? You want to head over to the casino and then maybe meet Clancy? Or I'm open for, like, maybe we could find some Nosferatu in the city or something like that.
I mean, we should just probably pick up the tapes now so we have more time to review them later on instead of. And then look for Nosferatu because Clancy isn't going to go anywhere, honestly.
That's true, but look at it this way. If Clancy has leads on Finch or
That's true.
somebody else, right? Like, we may need that time.
So we probably should go to casino, pick up the tapes, and then meet Clancy for Orleans.
That would be my suggestion. Yeah.
Alright.
What do you think, Yusuf?
Well, it's been a while since we even got the lead on the casino. Do you think it's still worth it?
Me personally?
Yes.
No. Look, as far as I'm concerned, we did a job. The job's done. I don't work for free. Perhaps you two do. I won't stop you. But no one is paying us to go look at those tapes. No one is paying us to investigate this anymore. And in fact, investigating it may be something that the sheriff doesn't want.
Yeah, let's not do it then. Make a good point.
So, Clancy then.
Finch and Bridget. Two names we need to know more about. I also want to know more from Clancy and see what the fuck have we been invited to.
Alright. He's off to Clancy then. I mean, he'll text Clancy to see if he's busy or not.
You come on over. We'll get you fitted right up.
Is Yosef coming along or is it just Juan that's coming?
I'll come along.
He will also text, I'm going to have a bit of company.
Of course.
Alright. Looks like he's more than happy to see us.
And who wouldn't be?
Speaking of which, Yosef, do you have a suit?
Oh. No.
Not even a cheap one, or you know, the ones you can buy for like $20 at the. No?
$20 suit.
I don't know how much suits cost. As of like.
Somewhere between a shitload and a fuck ton.
Let me check my trunk. And I just kind of leave and go off into my room.
Sure, Colton has a dress shirt and a tie. I don't think it would fit, but
You hear like a really loud bang and shit's just being kind of thrown around from the other room. And I'm gonna come out in this really oversized like overcoat with like a brass hammer and sickle along the waist.
is he
and
wearing?
some leather riding boots.
I like it. It's very good. You should definitely wear it.
It does.
Guys, it doesn't fit as well as it used to. You know, it used to be extra large, but now it's just slightly too big.
It's perfect. I really.
Right.
Juan looks over at Nate and he's like, Nate, anything to throw expectations? Probably a good thing.
What did what did Juan say? I couldn't hear.
He
you.
said anything to throw expectations is probably a good thing.
What? I don't. What does Juan mean by that? Sorry.
So, like a dude walking in. So it's the same thing as Juan walking in with Francesca, right? Like
So
Yosef shows up
yeah.
in like a Soviet soldier uniform,
right. Well, if that's the case, then Nate should wear his military uniform. He still has it. Not that he ever wears it.
If you have like class A's or something.
You'll raise some eyebrows like, what?
Yeah, that's no.
No, hey, that's not necessarily a bad thing.
I
don't
mean,
know.
he's not gonna be a cop anymore. If
You guys do you.
What years again? 98? You're gonna have gross ass green class A's though.
oh god,
Indeed. They do look pretty bad.
And the current looks really bad. But those are worse, I think.
military.
So, to Clancy?
Yeah.
To Clancy's. So Clancy, Nate knows this. Nate's intimately familiar with this place. Clancy operates mostly out of his law firm, and he makes the pretense of burning the candle on both ends. And he's become something of a silent partner at this point. But he's there at his office, and you pull up, walk up. Everyone has essentially gone home at this point. It's around 11 o'clock, 11:30 at night. Everyone will have gone home, and Clancy will essentially buzz you in. You get the sense that there are security cameras somewhere, and if you take a glance around, indeed, you can see them. And so he can see you as you approach the door, and there's a loud buzzing sound, and then go and reach another set of doors, and there's another large buzzing sound. And up you go, the elevator, and finally, you're at his law office.
Right.
So as you enter the law office area, it's very obvious where Clancy is, seeing as it's the only desk lamp that's illuminating what is otherwise an incredibly dark office. And it's across this pit area. So there's a bunch of cubicles in this pit area, and around the periphery of the office, there are the quote unquote offices where people actually have a private office that the door closes and it's got a little window, and all of these actually look outside, but his office is at the farthest end of the suite. It's a corner office.
Right. There's no intern or paralegal there this time around.
No. It's 11 o'clock. No.
Okay.
Everybody's gone home by now.
Nate just starts walking to where he knows Clancy is, and he'll knock on the door for politeness
You got it.
sake.
Before you even get to the door, hey kid, come on in.
He'll open the door. Then
Sit down. How you been?
I've been well.
Good, I'm glad to hear it. And your friends, Clancy Darrow. And he goes and he extends his arm out. His hand.
We've met, Mr. Darrow.
Oh God, that's right. Yo, Juan. Pleasure to meet you again.
And
And you, I
Yeah.
can never forget you. Yosef, is it?
yes, of course.
Yes. What the hell have you three been up to? You gotta fill me in, guys. Well,
A way into what, Mr. Darrow?
I mean, let's just say that we're at the end of two different coffee cans, and they're attached by a string. Now, as far as I'm concerned, you three have been at the other end of that coffee can shaking it about as much as you possibly can.
And what exactly have you been hearing about us, Clancy? Have heard anything about us at all?
Oh, yeah, I've heard plenty. Nah, not too much that's out in the open. You know how we lawyer types, court politics. Look, haven't heard anything from the prince, which is fucking interesting. Hargrave, however, has been having fewer and fewer conversations with me as the nights wear on. I get the feeling that I'm out of his good graces, but I feared the worst at first. I feared that the prince was turning a blind eye to me as well, or turning his back. It doesn't seem to be the case. No, it looks like whatever you did, you stepped on Hargrave's toes, and it wasn't the prince's. What did you do?
Only what he asked.
What do you ask?
He asked us to take care of business at the prison. There
Yes.
was a man. Yes. Well,
Did we explain this to him
Essentially.
already? Just
we
out of
did.
character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Memory shot with disease.
No, that'd be me. That'd be the storyteller.
Memory
That's right.
shot with his age.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so that is funny. Just to catch you up on where we kind of left it with Clancy, we talked to him last time, and he basically asked us to look into Hargrave. That's why we had the meeting with him and all that kind of stuff. And we basically said we'd report back to Clancy if we found anything.
Right.
Yeah.
So essentially, the same thing still stands. Essentially, what you would come to find out is that he seems to be having conversations with the prince. His prince's name's Ari Friedman. Not much has changed as far as the tenor of their relationship, at least that Clancy can tell. Hargrave, however, has been giving him the cold shoulder over the past week. He hasn't really spoken to him much. Now, he did. Okay, so he goes, Nate, I sent you the name Filch. Does that ring a bell?
Not really.
Nah. Filch is he's a wretched soul. Poor fuck, as a matter of fact. Something of a war trophy left over from DC. Filch is a Nos who he's under the prince's thumb, blood bonded as far as you can go. Loves the prince, fucking hates him as well. As far as I was able to tell, and asking as much as I was brave enough to ask, what I understand, Filch is a good part of the reason that Ari's here in the first place. I don't think I mentioned to you before. Ari, he's kind of done with El Paso. He's here out of necessity, not necessarily want. And there was some politicking that was done in D.C., obviously. Whatever went down, he got pushed out. But so did Filch. From what I understand, Filch was something of a hot shit in the Anarch movement over in D.C. They both got their heads on the chopping block, but Ari was able to bring him back here, makes him suffer every day. Lets him go and walk the streets at night. Filch is a broken creature. He's been tortured for decades now.
Right. And what streets, like what's location, does Filch wander, you know?
Mostly around the not so wonderful sides of the street. He's mostly around the outskirts of El Paso, butting up against Juarez. Snatches people from time to time. Generally speaking, when you hear of a missing person that's Filch, well, tends to like kids.
They're aware. I don't think that we'll be able to find Nosferatu if he doesn't wish to be found. But I have a different question for you, Mr. Darrow. Why the name Filch? What does that have to do with anything going on?
Well, truth be told, as to why the name Filch, not a clue. I don't think it's his given name, suffice to say. No one's ever really asked for his real name, that was not the prince at least. Filch is less than coherent, shall we say. Filch is barely contained. And I think it goes as something of a testament as to the nature of life on the border, that he generally goes, his actions and his comings and goings are, generally speaking, overlooked. Filch is the lightning rod for Ari's ire. As to what he might have to do with this, I have not a clue. I haven't spoken to the creature in a long time.
And what's his connection with Hargrave?
Not much of one at all, from what I understand. I mean, whenever I've been in Hargrave's presence, I certainly haven't been in Filch's presence either. If that answers your question.
Then why did you send us the name Filch when I asked about Hargrave? If he knows any of associates or of his that we could look into.
You asked about the prince, as I remember.
No, it was Hargrave.
Really? I was almost positive from a storyteller perspective that you were asking about the prince.
No, I was asking about Hargrave.
Oh, my bad. Okay.
Alright, that's I'll be sure to keep that in mind.
Yep.
Might be a good source of information. Anyway. So, Clancy, what can you tell us about this Elysium that is coming up?
No. Seems as though it's pretty run of the mill. Run by Bridget Woodhouse. Insufferable bitch. Oh my goodness. Bridget is a New Yorker by way of Paris and about as insufferable as that combination could possibly be. Toreador.
Toreador,
Yeah, what else?
of course.
Fancies herself as the heartbeat of this fucking clubhouse that we have going on in El Paso, and frankly, I have no idea as to why she's down here in the first place, because it's not as though we have a Broadway tape, for instance. But she subjects us to her company, and I suppose we are here to grin and bear it. She has a number of little functions going on. From what I understand, she owns the Plaza Theater outright. That seems to be her domain. She's real big into the performing arts. But this upcoming Elysium takes place at Chateau de Série, as fucking namby-pamby as that sounds. It's a art studio in downtown. You know, visual art kind of thing. Postmodern shit. Urinals as art and all that decadent bullshit. Useless as far as I'm.
I see. You know, when we spoke to Hargrave, he mentioned something that I thought would be interesting to you. He said that
What is this?
No.
that's a frog. His name is George.
Do you actually own a frog named George?
No, but when it rains, remember I live in Florida and I have a pool and all that kind of stuff, so frog outside my window.
Oh my god.
Some biblical shit down there. Like, I tend to forget from time to time.
Telling you what, dude, it's Florida. Hargrave mentioned something. He said that the thing with Bruno, the thing with the prison, it came from the prince, not from Hargrave himself.
Yeah.
That change anything for you, Mr. Darrow?
Roll an empathy and perception, or an empathy and wits, whatever you prefer.
Two successes.
Oh, I'll do that too then.
He goes,
Oh, nope, I can't tell shit. As always.
oh boy, that's actually a botch too.
Oh my god. Spot.
He looks at you and considers you for a moment. No. Not yet.
What do you need to know to make it mean something to you?
It was Milner, you said, right?
Indeed. A member of the Giovanni clan.
Fuck. Can't say. Try as it might, I can't understand why those two would speak at all. The fuck did the Giovanni have anything to do with El Paso? And moreover, why would the prince have any reason to consider them as... Why wouldn't they go and wipe them out yesterday?
Well, Giovanni has money, influence.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know, Hey, look, I've been away from DC for some time now, and I'm not keen on going back, especially not attached to Ari's hip. But the last that I remember, Giovanni weren't power players in DC. Tremere? Sure. Nosferatu? Absolutely, you bet. It wasn't necessarily Giovanni Playground. That's strange.
What I thought was strange was George. He wants to play too. I understand he's actually a gangrel. What I thought was strange was when Hargrave mentioned that we were very useful to him, but when we tried to, let's say, decline the invitation to Elysium, he wouldn't have it. As I understand it, Elysium is effectively open, unless the prince calls court. Vampires aren't usually required to show.
No. No, they're generally not. Then you all presented yourselves, being known entities in the domain.
Of course. And I will admit, two Ventru and a Bruja make a strange bedfellows, but we do alright.
Yeah. Well, like I said, you've been definitely making some waves within the community. Little, as few as we are. Now, some odds afoot. Tell you what. Got the name of Bridget. There's some other people you should probably be aware of if you're going to be doing your homework as to why you're open. Then this is a mandatory attendance. Yeah, you got two people. Well, more than a few actually. So I don't think the burnt out autocs are going to talk, but maybe. You got two of them. You got Jones. Jones, fucking old. At least for around here. An old Nosferatu. Came around probably about 10 years ago. Hasn't done much of much. Not at least that I'm aware of. And he's got somebody from the Toreador camp that he holds court with, or at least keeps his company. Kind of an odd pairing, but they get by. The other guy's name is Colby Burns. He's at least my kind of tour, let me tell you. Guy's more of a NASCAR and fucking PBR kind of guy. Farm pizza, craft brew kind of bullshit that they had back over there, you know what I'm saying? Not as though I drink anymore, but I don't know, just distasteful, shall we say. Those two are a pair. Generally don't grace us with Elysium too often, but there might be somebody to talk to. Let's see if I can get you their whereabouts. And then there's the couple. You got Esther Fields and Bartholomew Fields. They're old El Paso. Old El Paso. They've been here for a very, very long time. Mid-1800s, as I remember. Or so I've been told. They're the crazy fucks. Monks. They run a, what do you call it,
Don't tell me an insane asylum.
No, not too on the nose as far as that's concerned. No, they run a charity. Old money. Old money.
A
They go back as,
What do you know?
yeah, it's the, let's see. It's the Fields charity. It's run out of the Fields estate. Like I said, old money. They go back. Very strange people. It's something of an orphanage. I never wanted to get too close to those two. Again, relatively frequent at Elysium, at least once a year. Other than that, nothing much goes on here as far as overt politicking. Place is rather dull, or at least it was.
Seems strange, don't you think, that two older vampires, been in the city for a long time, a new prince comes in, from outside.
I thought
I
the
feel
same
like that
thing.
would ruffle some feathers.
I thought the same thing for some time. For the first, I don't know, for the first decade that I was here. But you know, what I could tell, my understanding of it, is this place isn't worth fighting over. It seems as though that when Ari came in and took his place as Prince, and he uses quotation marks, Prince here in El Paso, no one seemed to brook much disagreement. Ari was, as best as I can tell, almost installed here. And I know that never happens. You fight for what you eat. Not Ari.
That is very interesting, Mr. Darrow.
Yeah. I suppose it is.
One more question, if you don't mind.
Yeah, you should.
The prince. What clan is he?
It's blue blood.
Of course. That makes sense.
Yeah. He's got financier roots going all the way back. I think he's got ties to the Rothschild fortune.
Wow. You have answered all of my questions, Mr. Darrow. Thank you.
Anytime.
I appreciate your candor.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
What about Hardgrave? What is he exactly? I don't think that was ever made clear.
Hargrave's gangrel.
Uh,
Yeah, you can't tell by that old leather face he's got. Supple leather to be sure. Man, ain't ugly, but... Yeah, he's one of them outdoorsy types.
makes sense.
So, perhaps with the names that you've given us, if you do know any of their whereabouts, I think we'd like to speak with a few of them. Also, this Bridget character. I think we would do best not to run afoul of a would-be harpy. Yeah?
I'd say so. Bridget's the easiest to find. Bridget's the easiest one to find. You can find her at the Plaza Theater. And I agree, don't run afoul of her, but she's pretty agreeable as far as walk-in visits are concerned. She, a few other things. I told you about Colby. Colby's actually the child of Bridget. Had a bit of a falling out over the last 10 years or so. Hence him being an autarch and all.
I see. How do they interact? If I assume he doesn't go to Elysium very often.
No, not much at all. Not in the last 10 years or so. Now, you see, Bridget's your typical Toreador, and all the pleasantness that comes with that. Colby, like I said, down-to-earth guy. He's a handsome fuck. Guy's a look. Guy looks like he's chiseled from marble. I hazard to guess that was probably the basis of the relationship at the onset. As to the reason for the falling out, I'm not entirely sure, but probably irreconcilable differences.
Did she find someone else?
Don't know. Don't know. I mean, Bridget's always got a carousel of eye candy and arm candy going on with her Elysium. Bridget kind of enjoys playing house, as it were. Elysium is something of a distraction as far as she's concerned. To be frank, not too many people show up insofar as the kindred community is concerned. I mean, they do and they don't. It's a bit of an oddity. People come and they go. No one is really expected, as it were. Because frankly, the people that decide not to come are of far more repute than the ones that do show. El Paso's a strange place.
The ones that do show, they are tied to the prince, are they not?
Yeah, they are.
It's an interesting idea. If the prince is perhaps attempting to make a show of force, having 3 new vampires show up at Elysium might be something to take notice of.
No doubt. No doubt. And as a matter of fact, that'll send some signals.
But to whom?
I guess that's the $1,000,000 question.
I guess it is.
Yeah. Seems like Hargreaves playing his own hand.
Maybe. We'll see.
Well, if there's anything else I can help you boys with, by all means, come on back.
I'll leave my curiosity sated for now, Mr. Darrow. Thank you.
My pleasure.
I do have something that I need to quickly give a chat about with you, Clancy.
Yeah. What's
I'll
that?
step outside, mate.
I guess I will too.
That would be appreciated. This won't take long, if that's all we're going to be talking about concerning Hargrave and the prince and all that.
Thankfully, Nate, time is one thing I have a lot of. And then Juan gets up and he heads out the door.
Alright.
Clancy, I was wondering if you could do some legal work, a legal favor for me, I guess.
He kind of chuckles a little bit. Sounded like you were going to ask me to prom. Of course I can do some legal work for you. What do you mean?
I need you to write up a short will for me, and guess if it ain't too much trouble for your firm to represent my kids when I'm
Well, Nate, do you have cancer? A tumor? Sounds like you plan on going somewhere.
not really, I can't be a police officer forever.
Oh, here, I thought you were going to finally die.
So it would help if there was a lawyer who knew his stuff to make
Say
sure.
no more. I'm assuming the beneficiaries will be your children?
Yeah, it would be.
Send me a list of assets, and I'll read it will. Shouldn't be a problem whatsoever.
Thank you.
You got it.
And
All right. Well, that's it. That's
Yeah.
all. He goes and he walks you over to the door. And she goes and shakes your hand, glad handing you the whole way. You know.
right.
And I'll actually walk you all out to the office, the little secretarial area of the office, and wish you guys well.
Alright. I guess they leave.
Those frogs are
It's
so
so
funny.
every time you talk.
Every time we talk.
I just light up my mic when he's croaking.
It's only when you talk.
That's awesome. Awesome.
Also, it's funny that Clancy's like, hey, let's get a suit for you. And then
Oh, honestly, that was my bad. I forgot. I'm a bit of a space cadet today.
it's
suffice to say.
fine. It's fine. You can wear his military uniform.
No, he'll walk you through a suit. That was just my oversight. On that note, I'm gonna call it now
Yeah.
because I'm batting like I'm batting like a 1500 here. But great session, guys. 4 XP for all of you.